Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So this, once again, is one of those Twitter conversations, X conversations, if you will, that we spoke about having on this channel. Now, just recently, this video went viral of this young man and his wife. Apparently, every day he comes home from work, she's waiting outside on the doorsteps, right by the garage, if you will, waiting for him to come to the door, and they embrace each other. It's very beautiful, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was really cute. It's a cute thing to do, a way to, keep the marriage going, if you will, keep the romance and the affection alive. Like I said, I thought it was very, very cute watching them both embrace each other and hold each other tightly, him picking her up and spinning her around. And I'm going to assume that this is a display of their love for each other and the fact that they both love each other with the same intensity. They both want to be with each other with the same intensity. Now, I do understand that not every situation is as it seems on the surface level, but with the same energy, not every situation is, oh, they're probably hiding something crazy that they're doing. Some people just genuinely do love each other and they put that on display. They can display that. Now, like I said, this went viral because a lot of people were saying, oh, well, we want, women to do this. We want the wives to do this. And I always think that these conversations are just so interesting because there's so many other points that people really fail to bring to the forefront of these conversations. So this one particular woman, she rehashtagged this video and she made mention of some things that I think a lot of people need to understand before they sit up on the internet and say, oh, I want something like this that somebody else has. So she tweets, so this happens as a result of the tenderness that she puts in between asterisk marks consistently shows her. She is, in true feminine nature, reflecting and responding to the tone he has set for the relationship. Women want to be loved and cherished. I'm interrupting this quote to mention that we've been talking about this for a while now. You all will remember not too long ago, there was a woman who went viral. If I'm not mistaken, she was a therapist or a relationship psychiatrist, if I'm not mistaken, who was basically saying after all the women that she has sat down and talked to, they're telling y'all what they want, what they need to be loved, for you to show them that you actually give a crap about them, to have some kind of empathy for them, consideration, compassion, affection. That is what women want. That is what they respond to. Now I'm going back into quoting the tweet. Deep down, a woman in love is the young woman sitting on the metaphorical front step, waiting in anticipation for the man she loves to return. This is the posture of her heart. She waits for him to respond with enthusiasm because he has to demonstrate care for her outside of this moment, and because he consistently reciprocates love and enthusiasm when they're reunited. Harshness feels like rejection to a woman. If he spends a week acting grumpy or annoyed with her when she greets him, she will take that as a sign that he doesn't want her love. She will begin to withdraw, confused, and things will start to unravel. Rightly ordered femininity is driven by the impulse to love and nurture. If she is prevented from properly existing in the feminine, she will wither. Now let's do a quick analogy here, since she mentioned the term wither. This is just something that came to me. So a lot of people don't like to be compared to like cars, animals, clothes, whatever. But sometimes I like to see women as flowers. You plant them in a garden. You provide an environment that is conducive for them to grow according to what kind of flower they are. Some flowers need certain kind of conditions. Other flowers need other conditions. Some flowers grow in certain other temperatures and climates. Others the opposite. You build that environment based on what you have specifically, not somebody else's flowers in some other place, some other part of the world, somebody else's house, the flowers that you have where you are. You give them TLC, sunlight, the proper soil that they need with the nutrients in it, the water that's required to help them continue growing. That's how you see them flourish. That's how you get lavish, lush gardens. But when you don't do that, when you don't give them the proper affection and attention that they deserve, you leave them in your closet, you don't take care of them, you don't water them. Like I said, you don't give them the proper TLC that they deserve, and you don't care about, okay, what kind of climate am I living in? Is this the proper climate to be trying to grow this kind of flower, cultivate this kind of flower? You only care about what you want. I want this kind of flower over here, even though I know they're not going to survive because, like I said, this climate, the weather conditions. But you just decide you want to do it anyways. Or you try to grow them out of season and have them going through all this crazy stuff that they shouldn't have to be going through, only because you're being selfish and you want only what you're wanting and you're only concerned about what you want. That's when they start to wither. Their beauty starts to dry up. What they really are, what they could have turned into, you've essentially nipped that in the bud, pun intended, because you wanted to do what you wanted to do out of your selfishness and your pride. You didn't do the right thing. You didn't handle them correctly. I'm telling y'all, some of these same people who are sitting up here talking about, oh, I wish I had that, don't want to put in the effort to have that. There are men right now looking at that video talking about, oh, I wish I had a girl that would meet me at the door and jump on me and hug me. But ask them how they treated their last girlfriend, their ex-wife, their ex-fiance for some of them. Ask them how they mishandled some of these women who would have done stuff like that for them. Some of them even had those kind of girlfriends, fiancés, wives. I said some of them. And you know what they did? Whenever they did this for them, their response was something along the lines of, oh, you ain't got to do all of that. Why are you acting like that? You're being a little too clingy. I was only gone for a business day. You can't miss me that much. Go sit down somewhere. It's the whole watching what somebody else has, once again, not wanting to put in the effort to have something like that, or having it, and then when you have it, you mishandle it. But then get upset when you see somebody else happy having that. Can't have your cake and eat it too. This also goes along with that, having delusional expectations for a relationship mentality that both men and women sometimes have. Again, you thinking that that's what you want, and then when you get that, because you don't even know yourself, you're not even mature yourself first before you went and jumped into a relationship with somebody who you just wanted because you just wanted them, because you wanted to screw them or use them, or because they were attractive. And now you done found out, okay, well, maybe I don't really want you to like greet me right as I come through the door because I'd be tired coming from work. That's what the response is from some of these people, like I said before, because of their own delusionalness when it comes to what they really think that they want versus what they actually want from these relationships. And even if this is what they want, again, there are steps to take to get here. Making sure that you are providing an environment and you're not making a hellscape for a woman that you're expecting to treat you like she's an angel from the Lord high in heaven. Another thing people don't think about before they get on the internet and they spread these kinds of videos around, instead of just saying, oh, that's so sweet, we need more relationships like this, and they try to paint this narrative like there's no more women who want to do this. So there's also other things, like I said before, people don't consider. Like, maybe this woman doesn't work anywhere. She has the free time to do all this. Maybe they don't have kids. Because, if you kind of just think, you just do some deductive reasoning, you got kids. You can't just be leaving your kids, especially young toddlers, babies, in the house by themselves while you're waiting on the doorstep for your husband to come in. Can't just leave them unattended. Maybe I could understand if they were asleep, but still. A lot of women are going to be like, I need to watch these kids. I'm going to just wait for you to come inside the house and then we can hug there. So maybe she might not have kids. Maybe she doesn't have a job, because it's kind of hard to greet your husband at the door when you're at work, or you just got off work and now you're trying to set up dinner. You're trying to make sure that the house is gathered together. The kids are good. Because remember, a lot of people in this jacked up society really be out here believing that the woman should go to work just like the guy. And then on top of all of that, take care of the kids, cook the meals, clean, and do everything else without any help from her husband. So people don't be thinking like, well, maybe the other women don't exactly have the luxury of this because they could be at work, they could be at home or in the home taking care of their kids. Again, for safety reasons, I would rather you come in and I greet you there, because me leaving the house with the children unattended, not a wise idea. People don't think about this kind of stuff. They just see this, they feel a certain kind of way. A lot of these people, make no mistake, it's because of their own faults or something that they done that they won't admit that they've done. And then they just start blaming people, throwing around blame, attacking other people's character for no reason on the internet, stereotyping people into oblivion. But I'm encouraging you all to think about the other aspects before seeing the situation and then doing that same thing as well. Now, there's a note under the original post that she made that she is taking some things into consideration, like I keep telling people to do. Even she took some things into consideration. She was saying basically that she understands that there are some women who have been through some things and they might not act like this because of the things that they've been through. Now, I've said before, I'm a firm believer in let's not bleed on people who didn't cut us, which means do not take out your frustration of what somebody has done to you on somebody completely different who's done nothing to you. Don't punish them because somebody else did something to you. And also, let's not let our trauma negatively shape and impact how we treat people who we should be loving, who we should be treating right and respecting. Again, a lot of people don't consider that trauma aspect before they just take this kind of situation and twist it and pervert it and say something crazy like, oh, well, you're not going to be able to get some modern Western woman to do this because they're all crazy and mean and they don't want to do anything and they're bitter. See how that can reflect very badly? Once again, it shows how inconsiderate and lacking in empathy some people choose to be, because it's a choice to act like that and make posts like that towards other people who they don't know because of their few negative experiences. Again, it goes back to not bleeding on people who didn't cut you. Once again, that has to be a conscious and intentional choice. One that apparently is too much like right for some people to handle, still doesn't excuse what they say or do. But this is what the post said, and I quote, "Note, there are some women who have had broken relationships with their first family and struggle to fully actualize. The impulse to love and receive love becomes disordered and requires developed awareness and real inner work to have healthy relationships. Ideally, this work is done before marriage. In marriage, it becomes a stumbling block for union." Now, I don't think y'all understand how deep both of those posts really were and how truthful they were. You've got to do some very deep inner work. You've got to have some kind of therapy. And I keep saying this, a relationship with the Most High to work out the trauma that you didn't ask for, that was inflicted on you by other people, so that you don't become an awful person to other people who don't deserve it, who instead really deserve your love and affection. You've got to do that work before you get married, because if you wait till after, now you've got all kind of issues in the marriage that you wouldn't have had you done that before. This is where she is holding women accountable, essentially, for, like I said, doing the work that's needed before they get into another relationship. The work that they have to do after coming out of that toxic, abusive relationship that they were in before, even if it was just with their family. You had an abusive family, you got to get some therapy. You got to learn how to not treat people, like I said, the new people in your life, bad because of what happened to you. That's essentially where she's saying this right here. So people won't get this crazy idea that she's just trying to make everything a man's fault, because she's not. And that's not what this is. It's a call for both individuals to understand what their part is, what they need to do in order to make their relationship beautiful. Marriage is beautiful. Like, it annoys me when people say stuff like, oh, marriage sucks. No, marriage does not suck. People suck. And if people would get their lives together, if they would be healthy-minded, functionally minded, non-toxic, again, it takes therapy and God to do that, and then they would get in relationships with people who were also non-toxic, healthy-minded, functionally minded, they would have beautiful relationships. Keep God at the center of your relationship that's also healthy, not dysfunctional, and not toxic, and you will have a beautiful relationship. Will every day be sunshine and rainbows? No, because of life. Things happen. Things come up. Problems arise. But it will be one of the most beautiful things that you'll have in this life if you do it right. But it depends on you, again, and the intentionality of it all. Now, there was a discussion that took place between the original poster and somebody else who tweeted as a response to this post going on. And I think it's very interesting, I'm going to be honest, and something that people should observe. People are taking note, they're understanding, like I said, the different factors that go into this kind of situation. And they're explaining their side, they're explaining other things, and they're not just disagreeing because they're mad or their ego is wounded or they don't want to admit, okay, I might have messed up in this area. They're actually internalizing the advice. They're internalizing what's been posted. For example, this young man responded with the tweet, and I quote, "As a man, I want so badly to believe that what you're saying is true. I'll never really know if I screwed it up by the way I acted. Like so many husbands, this is not the way it has played out for me. Watching this just makes me sad." And she responded very respectfully by basically saying, okay, well, read the note that I posted under the original post. And he said, yes, he did read that note. And he said, and I quote, "Yes, the additional note refers to a very important reality, but my heart still tells me your original post contains a profound truth, even if it is not the only factor. I don't know if the others were as shocked by this video as I was. The video and your explanation are going to stick with me. Now, another person right beneath him posted, and I quote, "I'm shocked too, but a little hope. My wife didn't treat me this way in the beginning, and I didn't treat her that way either. Eventually, I started to grow up. I'm not where I want to be yet, but my wife's trust in my love is growing too. Someday, I hope to be greeted this way." Now, again, this is a testament to what we can accomplish, the conversations we can have, the admissions we can receive, the acknowledgments. For instance, one person saying, okay, I might have not done enough here, and the other person will say, okay, yeah, I didn't do enough there. See what we can accomplish, what we can promote, what we can stimulate thinking-wise whenever we have these kind of conversations, whenever we can admit stuff, whenever we can talk about this and leave the pride and the ego out of it. And when we are being very genuine and honest about identifying what the problem is, like I said, all the factors, what we could do personally in our own relationships to make them better. We don't have to greet each other outside of the door. If you would rather do that inside the house, that's totally up to you. So don't set some standard that you don't necessarily have to obtain when it comes to that kind of stuff. You don't have to make your relationship exactly like somebody else's, every detail. Do what you and that person are comfortable with and want to do. But like I said, when you're genuine and you're honest about the situation, the factors, what you can do to be better, that goes for everybody. Again, you would be surprised at what you can accomplish, especially when you actually want a solution, when you actually want things to work out, because I've talked about this before. Some of these people on the internet, they actually don't want healthy relationships. They don't want relationships at all. They just want chaos to ensue so that they can monetize off of people's pity parties and their reluctance to actually do something about it. Take some kind of accountability, identify the actual issue. Anyways, so this woman below them commented, as a woman, I quote, "As long as you're trying and she continues to be there for you while you grow, it'll happen eventually. Don't be scared to bring this up if it's a desire of yours to be greeted this way. Have those conversations and allow it to happen over time." And then he comments, "Thanks. I want her to want to treat me with love and affection. Nothing worse than faking it. I want to earn it and create the desire in her. That's the dream." Now, I'm glad they mentioned that because it's also very important. Again, this is where I say don't necessarily look at somebody else's relationship and then just say, oh, well, if I don't have that, then I don't have love in my life. Now, there are some things that, of course, are necessary to show that you actually do love that person. But the little nitty-gritty details like, oh, her meeting me outside, like I said, you don't have to have that exact blueprint, if you will, that exact, manual, if you will, of a relationship for your relationship to be very good, top tier, if you will. Now, if that's what you want, like that one person said, actually tell the person that. Like some people are really sitting up upset because, oh, well, my wife doesn't do this for me. Oh, well, my husband doesn't do this for me. And it's not necessarily one of those things that they should just know to do. It's really something that that person wants, but this person can't read your mind. Like if you want your wife to be outside waiting for you because you think that that's like, something that you would like, you think it's romantic, affectionate, then mention this to her. Again, people can't read your minds, especially if it's one of those things where they're not going to know you want them to do it unless you come out and say it. For example, a woman could say, oh, well, I like it when a man, whenever my man, husband, whoever it is, they hug me, and when they hug me tight, like they hug me, like squeeze me, like bear hug me. Now, would he necessarily know that unless you told him? Not really. There's some guys, they'll like hug whoever it is and just be like, okay, that was just a hug, that's what we do. Show love, that's the affection. But he doesn't know you want him to squeeze you until you look like one of those toys that you squeeze and the eyes almost pop out. You'd have to tell him that, hey, when you hug me, I want you to really not like hurt me, of course, but squeeze me, like bear hug me. That's how I feel the love. That's my love language. That's how I want you to show me that extra affection, that extra love. It's not taking anything away from him to do it, just like it's not taking anything away from that young woman to meet her husband at the doorstep. It's just that extra thing that they might want. Like I said, you have to tell this person this, make them aware of that. Now, again, think about this. How many of these things y'all are upset about just because you simply didn't say anything? Closed mouths don't get fed. You got to actually speak what you want. Sometimes it is that kind of situation. And again, I'm not talking about stuff you should already know to do, like put the toilet seat down, you got to cook dinner, you got to clean up after yourself. I'm not talking about stuff like that. You should already be mature enough as an adult to already know to do. And also on the flip side, if somebody asks you to do something that's, again, not taking anything away from you to do, don't just do it out of obligation. Do it because you love the person. Like if I was married and my husband said, hey, I like it when, you come to meet me by the door. I think that's really romantic. That's what my dad did with my mom. Whatever reason he likes that, I don't really care. That's what I'm going to do if it makes him happy, because if I'm with him and I love him, I want to show him that love. I want him to be happy, and if he's happy, I'm happy. It's not something crazy. It's not something toxic. It's simple. And he told me. He thought enough of me to tell me instead of assuming I'm Jean Grey and I can read his mind. Because that's just simply not the truth. But he thought enough of me to tell me, so I'm going to do it because, again, it's not taking anything away from me to meet him at the door. He told me, like I said, and I want him to be happy. And if that makes him happy, then I'm going to do what makes him happy. I'm going to do what cultivates the love and the affection and the romance in our relationship, because I'm a functionally minded individual. Y'all thought I was going to get away from saying that again. You were wrong. I'm healthy minded and I'm non-toxic, with the added benefit of having God at the head of every single one of my relationships, just not the romantic one. But God at the head of my relationship, because I want a wholesome, healthy, godly marriage, because that's how this is going to work. And I know that. Anyways, there were people in the comments just encouraging the guys and some of the women as well to just implement this. How about you just love on your spouse a little more? Show them a little more affection and see where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you're in a relationship, if you chose to be in a relationship with somebody who's, doing the right thing, who's not a toxic individual, this should work. Again, if you have God as the center of your relationship, which is going to help way more than if you don't, it's what you need, this stuff is going to work. It takes two to tango. It's going to take two people with maximum effort to make a good relationship. It's literally what you make it. Remember that saying that people used to have? Life is what you make it. Your marriage is what you and that other person makes it. You got to put in the work. You got to do the work. And when you do the work, and you do the right thing, and both people are doing so, you can end up like this woman, who said, and I quote, "To this day at age 75, I still anticipate my husband coming home from errands, greeting him with a kiss," and she put in quotation marks, "and neither of us leave home without a kiss as well," and she added a red heart emoji. Now, the guy under her said, "Reading this made me realize how important it is to make a safe space for my partner to feel loved." And again, that's the entire point of her entire post. Basically, that you cannot expect somebody to show you love in a way, especially one that you want them to, when you're creating a crazy environment. An environment with no love. Y'all remember that song? I forgot the lady's name that she made back in the day, that one sister, where she said, "Love don't live here no more." You can feel the pain behind what she was saying, because the environment that she was in, she was not receiving the love that a person should receive from somebody who calls themselves in a relationship with said person. You gotta put in the love that you want to receive back. Now, of course, if you're putting in love, if you are loving that person and treating them right, the right way, I'm not talking about this toxic mess that people are relabeling love. I'm talking about real, actual love, and they're not loving you back, then that's a whole nother video that we have to make concerning that altogether. Now, if you want the summary, it's called Exit Stage Left of that relationship. But like I said before, what we're talking about right now is this particular situation, what's going on here in this video. And also, as I said before, when you show that love and that empathy, that consideration, when you show that woman that you care about her, you actually do genuinely love her. Again, not that toxic mess that they're relabeling love now. That you care about her, that you want what's best for her, that she is safe with you. Making sure that she feels safe with you. The love will follow. The love will be reciprocated. She will be excited to see you, just like this woman. She's excited to see him because from the looks of it, he is loving her the way that she should be loved, the way that a person should show love to their spouse. That's why she's excited to see him every day, all the time. Now, there were some women who were even using scripture to back up what this woman said, and I'm all the way here for it. I love it. This woman quoted what she said. Harshness feels like rejection to a woman. And she quoted a scripture Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Colossians 3:19. And once again, I don't believe in coincidences. I guess you can say ironically, the woman right underneath her also quoted that same thing. Harshness feels like rejection to a woman, which is exactly why men are commanded in Colossians 3:19 to love their wives and not be harsh with them. I just want to leave with y'all a thought. I like to provoke thought. How many women's lives have been ruined by the harshness of other people, by the men in their lives? How many times have women said, I'm not doing X, Y, Z, and instead of saying it was because, or acknowledging it was because somebody was harsh with her, somebody was abusive with her, somebody didn't do right, they just decide to run with some narrative because they're trying to promote some crazy line of thinking or agenda and saying, oh, she's just not wanting to do what she's supposed to do. She just doesn't want to do what she's told. She doesn't want to submit to authority, to her husband, whoever. Instead of being considerate and saying maybe somebody was harsh with her, you're just reinforcing why she does not want to be involved with a relationship, with a person, with a man. Do whatever you're trying to make her do. Show love. Again, this is something we need to think about before we are so quick to run to the internet with judgments and all kinds of, like I said, crazy ideologies and promoting crazy agendas. Anyways, though, y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.